Are you ready?
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Shalom, Salama, Siyemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. When those nuclear tests are coming and those skies end up turning real gray. Maybe that's not how the song had gone. But this is really the sentiment of, I'm going to say, probably billions of people around the world. So Trump and Putin met for the rare earths. You could tell how crazy that was when when a lot of even a lot of these compiler moves haven't really moved. Let me kind of go ahead here. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. And the reality is this: you can never put anything of face value Yeah, sorry, family. I don't know why I'm streaming at like two things. That's the StreamYard thing. I'm gonna have to figure that on out. Usually they'll fix those types of issues, or I'll have to like get that setting taken care of. Before I get started any further, I want to do say this. Over at Q2UA, we are working to provide emergency relief over to our brothers and sisters in Jamaica. So we're in the planning phase right now. We hope to have something to you all in about another, I would say, week or so, which would then allow us to support our brothers and sisters over there on the island. We have um, been tried, true, and tested in shipping medical supplies via um, maritime transit. And we know that we would be of a tremendous effort or impact for our people on the ground. So we should be able to provide a little bit more of a basis in about a week, especially where you can um, submit those funds. Again, right now, I'm still coordinating some efforts, but I am giving you all what we would like to do, the intent that we would like to do. It is going to be rather hefty. And that's just because we are living in an era of things have gone up. So I will confirm with my with folks in the community of the the cost and things of that nature so we can have a target. And I'm also working with some other organizations that are really big to do. And I'm working on obviously getting those particular details and things of that nature worked on out. So it's going to take about a week or so. That's why I say a week or so to get all that squared away. But I do want to let our people know that that is coming. That is coming. Also, for those that do not know, next week I will be in New York to meet with the director of Ouagadougou's biggest hospital there in Burkina Faso um, to coordinate some efforts that will provide um, a, a a valuable benefit and linkage for our people. Shout out to ADDI. I did see that the folks had gone on over to do their permanent residency. That is great. From really the angle and the efforts that we're doing, I'm looking at we have to help with the infrastructure, and I'd like to make sure that we're building the infrastructure so we have a lot more of these incredible opportunities, whether it's through ADDI, whether it's through other organizations. That's all fine and dandy. I know that the mission of Q2UA is critical infrastructure and economic development. And so I want that to be something that we understand because, you know, really, um, there are a lot of things that do happen in the background. There's a lot of, you know, the concerns that people had a few weeks ago with this and that. It was a parliamentary decision because Parliament, their government, they have to understand what they can and can't support. And to be a functioning government, you just can't let everybody on in when you're not all the way at a functional capacity. So, what we want to do, we want to provide that help, that support, that expertise that we have within our community. Our community, they're full of experts. I'm going to be meeting with our experts in medical this evening as we plan and coordinate. So, a lot of these things, again, they're done behind the scenes. That's why when I say thank you, family, for your prayers, thank you, family, for your support, it's done behind the scenes because for the most part, there are things that I have to fund. There are different efforts that I have to fund. Not all of these efforts fall within the Q2A sphere. So literally when you are donating to and supporting via Cash App and PayPal or Zelle, that's what you're supporting. So another development was, look, I always try to do things frugal because I don't like to have people have the accusations of this or that or this or that. And yes, I will come out of pocket. And it took me a little bit. And as I reconciled, even yesterday, I'm still in that process. A lot of receipts, a lot of handwritten notes. This is Ghana. Transportation, I was trying to be frugal on transportation. Sorry, I could not justify spending around $200 to $250 a day for a Toyota Camry. Just couldn't. So, what I have done and what I usually will do, look, there are people that we have that are from Ghana, that are from these other different places around the country, or excuse me, the continent. And what they'll do, hey, we got this, we got that, we could do this. I thank the Most High that I had a really good support mechanism. I had a really good driver with Gideon. He knew where to go, how to go, the places. Some of these places we got turned around. Some of these vehicles that we were trying to get on the cheap, well, let's just say their customer service skills over on the continent is a little lacking for for lack of better terms. But when you're literally doing things at a third of the cost, you go through hiccups. And you, for me, look, I remember I lost the time going to Cape Coast on Monday. It was a Monday. My driver was there. He made it with only just fumes. Don't laugh because this is kind of ignorant. We're in the car. We're getting ready to go. All right, let's get to Cape Coast. I'm trying to be spiritually and emotionally prepared, all that preparation. He tries to cut on the engine. He's like, ah, that little, that little clicks. Ah. Their manners, their mannerisms and expressions are just hilarious. I'm sorry. It's smile like ah, boss, the engine, boss, no gas, boss. I'm thinking, how did you roll that thing from where you had it? Well, because what we had done in order to get these rates, again, the customer service wasn't the best. They just rolled up, dropped off the car to my driver with like zero gas. And then my driver said, well, I got zero gas. He made it down to where I was at. And then there was no more gas. And it took about 2 hours to get the gas. Needless to say that really, messed up the trip. But you know what though? We needed that RAV4 because there were cars, the way that we had to roll up into like a little mountain village area because of the roads and the bypass. We literally had to go up through like a little 1 lane road in the mountain village area where there's literally, the kids, the 3-year-olds, the chickens, while it's still kind of rainy and muddy. I tell you. To me, I wouldn't. I didn't think that was safe. I've been to some places that were very, very unsafe. But you have to go off of the recommendations of the people on the ground. A lot of our people here in the West, it's not the West. So that was really the justification on that. I came out of pocket a lot more than what I really wanted to. And then as I'm, reconciling the numbers, I'm like, oh, I really came out of pocket. That's why I'm hurting. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father. That's why. But again, what did I say? I said this a couple of weeks ago. I said the trip to New York was going to be about 1,500 to 2,000. Right now, let me get my figures on up here. So it looks as though the amount raised just on the through the Q2UA. That's how I'm this is how money is officially raised because this is on in support of an engagement that supports the mission of critical infrastructure and economic development. So it looks like we've raised about, I'm gonna say probably about $600 or $700. Now, to be quite honest, I thought that was going to be enough. However, I had some bad news from my cousin that I was trying to stay with in New York. Anything that's decent or decently priced is going to be at least about $250 at night, at least. And because of where I have to meet in basically Manhattan, yeah, that's the least. I was looking at things yesterday and I said, "Oh my goodness." I'm like, "Where are these places at?" I'm like, "I'm not trying to stay on Park Avenue." The reality is that look, uh I'll defer on that. The reality is this, listen, meeting up with the doctor, it's still a great venture. I wanted to save money. That's what I try to do. I do try to save as much as I can. And because listen, we're in a very awkward financial disposition as a people. I recognize that in Ghana and Burkina Faso last month, and now it's proving this month of man, look, all we could do is prepare. And now we see what that's looking like as they are trying to not just kill off the economy, but they're trying to kill off their status. Because again, I always look at it like this. This is my just a personal opinion. I always look at it like this. Well, in order for everyone, in order for this debt to be paid back, that's hands and feet. The question that people have to ask in their mind is whose hands and whose feet? See, remember all of these different things that Jacoba had pointed on out, that folks were pointing on out. I had even shown you all that was happening. When people say, well, what's the bigger picture out here? Look, we've explained the big picture. It's whether or not they choose to admit that this big picture is going on. They're going into captivity. The problem is that their captivity is going to be a more digital one. So now the banks have shifted to the east. That's BRICS. Do not get it twisted. BRICS is the eastern part of this shift of this world system. And now that eastern shift is on the horizon and it's getting ready to take place within their 2030 agenda, right? Equal, equal, equal. That's the guys. The guise of equality and all this equal stuff. Because why? Because they built the framework. The framework on the last era was what? Do as might is right. And vanity and supremacy and all sorts of other things that created the irons, the two legs of iron. Now that's being crushed. And it's being crushed because we're coming up out of this captivity. So now, in this shift, all of a sudden, these superpowers now have all of these different weapons and everything else. China doesn't have to unveil weapons because Russia's got them. This is the conglomerate. This is the reckoning that they have feared. I'm listening to our Canadian Israelite brother trying to piece together. He said, I'm moving. I'm kind of lining up some sort of divine cosmic force. There's a force at play. Yeah, that's the Ruach. That's the Ruach HaKodesh. That's Yah giving you the voice to talk to these other nations. And it's interesting because as I'm listening to him this morning, well, the movie that he was talking about was a house full of dynamite. For those that watched his video, the house full of dynamite was basically showing the failures. Now they showed it as failures. The problem to me when they were showing their anti-missile defense systems, their AMDs, their surface to air missiles, their surface to air, whatever they have. Again, they were trying to throw the figures on out there, 60% rate. Actually, that was a lie. It's actually a 30% rate. They just didn't want to tell you that that was a 30% rate. In the movie, they said 60%. Because here's the reality. Do you think they want to scare people with the real numbers? This is the numbers that even the Pentagon had disclosed about 5 years ago. And it hasn't gotten any better. After you had that movie, A House Full of Dynamite, or I guess not just after, but while that movie was going on, you had Putin testing the Burevestnik missile, and now you had Putin testing the Poseidon. That tsunami wave, supposedly. But it's interesting here that all of a sudden, that's what I'm telling you, you cannot, whatever you're hearing, whatever you're seeing, it's all reckless abandonment. It's dangerous. Here's this. They're not really showing a lot of this stuff on your traditional media shares, media outlets. But this is posted less than 12 hours ago. This post reads, this is from the Truth Social. The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. Wait a second. They have a status. They're supposed to report their statuses, okay? They're supposed to allow auditing so that you effectively are able to understand, okay, if they're building up, then we're going to build up. If they're doing this, then we're going to do this. That was actually part of the START treaty, the strategic, tactical, nuclear, something other, atomic something. So that treaty, it looks like, let's keep reading, because remember, America was actually second. Russia actually had more nuclear weapons, But wait a second, look at this. This was accomplished, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Okay, so what he had just stated was that he was violating the START treaty from his time in office. He just stated that. He just said it. So if you are then violating your treaties, doesn't that mean that they're just doing the same MO over and over and over again? No. I do not believe that you have people acting in good faith. That's why I say diplomacy is dead. How can you have diplomacy with a person who is a bad actor? How can you have a diplomacy in person who has intentionally shown that it's bad faith after bad faith after bad faith? This isn't a critique just on Trump. This is a critique on this system. The system has been a bad faith system. So those that even had trusted in the system to provide something, guess what? Now they're starting to recognize. Thank you, Brother Richard. Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. Yes, the start. Reduction. And there was a buildup. He already said it was a buildup. He said, because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but I had no choice. So what he said is he violated the treaty. Because why? Because they got scared? I'm sorry. Do you see what he tried to do? Do y'all see that? You see what he tried to do? Come on now. Come on now. They do that to us all the time. You see what they did? He tried it. Yo, he tried it. I was in fear of my life. I had to build up my nuclear weapons. I was in fear of my life. So now you have this happening. And then what they'll try to say is, oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, he didn't. Have you all noticed that they always try to then recant every statement now? Oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, they didn't mean it. Oh, they didn't. He then begins to further elaborate. Russia is second and China is a distant third. Wait a second. I thought Russia had more nuclear weapons and we were trying to get everything down and they were trying to get everything down and y'all said that you're building more? Bad actor. That's not the art of the deal. That's the art of diplomatic failure. You can't negotiate if you can't communicate. You can't communicate if you can't build that trust. It's simple. Everybody lost trust. Because of the tremendous destructive power. And that's man, that's such a straw man cop out. That's all they're doing. They're playing on these people's logical fallacies because they're playing on the fear of the people because that is how they've been able to control and manipulate. If you didn't know, this is the greatest control and manipulation campaign that has ever been faced here in the United States, and it is drawn upon via social media, via technology, via AI, via other influence, reinforcing influences. So now understand they're trying to go after Venezuela. Have you noticed that hit a little bit of a snag when Putin said, okay, try it. Russia is supporting, China is supporting. And now he doesn't just want to go after Venezuela. Now he wants to go after Colombia because Colombia's like, man, why you lying on us? That's the honor. That's the code. That's the name. That's the country. That's the people. Trying to lie on the whole people? What? Well, they're doing all this and they're doing all that. Okay, if they're doing all that, then why are they all signing every NDA for their supposed mission? Now, did they get thwarted? Did the U.S. get thwarted? Probably. And the U.S. is probably back negotiating. We'll stop it. Just don't say our tactics. Because why? Because then everybody knows their tactics. And then once their tactics are exposed and everybody sees, oh, y'all just doing the same trick. Because why? Because they're not very innovative. They stick with one routine. We stick with that routine because we've mastered that routine. We know that routine works and it's effective. It's a one-trick pony of deception. One trick. Let me. I want to show you this because I analyze. I overanalyze things. My orange brain. My burnt orange brain. And China's a distant third, but will be even within 5 years, so probably a year. Because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War, not Defense, Department of War. That's a funny one. Excuse me just a second. You got to get people so psychologically conditioned for war. You get people psychologically conditioned for war, and then you tell everybody else it's those people's fault. It's their fault that we're here at war. It's their fault that we're here in this. It's their fault. The reality is we all know the game. Have we not been gaslight? Oh, now they're getting mad at us because we're not going to these protests. Get out of here. We know the game. And the problem is, you want to know why they're really, really mad at us? Because the whole world pays attention to us more than them. That's the hatred. I pray that you all have started to realize this because they're telling you this and they're telling you this in those, kind of awkward isms. The world pays more attention to us than to them. So when we are not doing what they want us to do, they feel a certain sort of way because that is the jealousy. How come you're not protesting? You should be on out here. Or we should be just fine sitting right here, not getting in y'all's way to do something that you all needed to do. Pull yourselves up by the bootstraps. Remember, you told us that. You also told us to stop begging. But it's mainly y'all folks begging. You also told us that, hey, if you get off the system, start to be innovative and stop whining and complaining. We haven't, for the most part, been whining. Okay. There's been a couple of folks, but by and large, you know what we do? We plan in the background. We have phone calls with our family. We talk about this. We work through some situations. You know what that does? It forces us to come together and to figure out the problems. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Donald J. Trump, for allowing us to figure this out ourselves so then we can go back to being that self-sufficient people that we once had been before that had been systematically destroyed through the weakening of our mind via different social programs, via different cruxes. Because if you understand physical therapy and the way that you heal, you never heal from a surgery, especially after a tremendous surgery, just by laying in bed all day. You have to go through some physical rehabilitation. You have to be able to go through and get your muscles primed. You have to be able to get that I wouldn't say rigor mortis. But it has to be strengthened. You get weakened when you've just been forced to lay down. Now we're being forced to strengthen, and that strengthening is going to be tough. It's going to be tough doing them push-ups. Atrophy, thank you. I'm tired. Yes, thank you. Why was I thinking taxidermy? It's like, no, that's when you stuff animals. And we're going to have to toughen up real quickly. Because it's not what I said. Didn't I say this? I said, pay attention to what they said. Because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. The process will begin immediately. When? Immediately. Now, if I were a betting man, which I'm not, but if I were, when do you think that he would start the first nuclear test? What day would that be? It's coming up in less than 2 weeks from the day. It's Veterans Day. Yep, exactly, Brother Gar. Veterans Day. This is for all the veterans on out there. We're doing these tests, so that's the war to end all wars, or we're gonna have great peace. They're gonna say it saying that. Look, yeah, he already said that he's violating. They already done violated it. They've been done violated it. He's just going to show the whole world that they done violated it. So that now, what do you do? Right after that test, I'm telling you, probably about a week later, they're going to have an emergency summit with all the BRICS nations. Hey, they're trying to do this to Venezuela. They're trying to do this to all the, because Venezuela was trying to join BRICS. I think Venezuela is like a BRICS something, like observer or something. Okay, he's going too far. He could pop off. And guess what? They could pop off and they now have targets in sight. Could it be Iran? Could it be China? Could it be Russia? Could it be Venezuela? Could it be Cuba? Now everybody's playing a really messed up game of Russian roulette. Do you all see where this is going? It's not about de-escalation. This is escalation at its finest. Let's start a war. Let's get people distracted on these different social issues. Let's get people distracted over losing benefits. Let's get people distracted over losing jobs. Let's get people distracted over just about anything. And while that happens, the fall of Babylon is occurring and people don't even realize it's happening. People don't even realize that the North has set their armies in array. People don't even realize that this place is taken. People don't even realize Obadiah. Yeah, you look, they can now cross the water. Them arrows that land and none returneth. Say it with me. Burvestnik. You better keep Burvestnik out your name. Burvestnik. They said he'll get there in ASAP. Burvestnik better get on his job. It better get on his job. Oreshik better get on his job. Putin's like, you can't spell Putin with a little bit of TI. Burvestnik. Defense forces better get on its job. Better get on its job. So Matt and or Reshnik. Oh man. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, fam. I shouldn't be making light of a really, really disturbing situation. And all we can see is that these little games that they play. I had so much. I had a lot more other things to show. The whole China thing, the rare earth minerals. Look, the rare earth minerals is really about Africa and control of Africa because the U.S. ain't got it like that. So they're just trying to work with and through Xi. So that little fake engagement, oh, yeah, I think we're gonna now get rid of tariffs. They're not gonna get rid of tariffs. They agreed to almost everything, yeah. Sure they did, which means that they agreed to nothing. Which means in translation, we're screwed. Because now you have Putin not just waiting in the wings. Man, Putin's in the air, he's in the water. He said, come at me. I got them radioactive tsunamis. What? Not just a tsunami, that's a radioactive tsunami. Would we ever thought 20 years ago we'd be talking about radioactive tsunamis? Oh, all right, family. Real quick before I do get up on out of here, I am calling for a fast tomorrow. It's the fast, sun up to sundown. It ends at Shabbat. But I'm calling for a fast because we are at the crossroads. We're calling for the fast so we can have a breakthrough. This is a moment in time where we need the Most High more than ever. There's some things even happening in the background where we need a breakthrough to happen. A lot of things that I deal with in the background, it's a lot of spiritual warfare. It makes literally zero sense. And then when I'm like, well, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I need to talk to him about this, and then I realize I don't need to do any of that. It's the Most High that does it all. My job is to be the servant and to talk to our people to petition the Most High for his blessing, for his actions, for him to do what we cannot do in this flesh because it's for his glory. This thing I was beating myself up for over a month. I said, Father, why, Father, this, Father. That wasn't my job to beat myself up. All right. Well, Father, I thank you. We need to come to this as a people. We need to ask for a breakthrough on these plans in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. That's why I ask for you all, family, that from sun up to sundown tomorrow, October 31st, the best time to do it because why? Because we have to battle these principalities. So that the plans of the wicked, that they're bound, that they're broken, and that the Most High will show us favor to move on our behalf. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. That no weapon, nothing at all, would be able to prosper. Not for this organization, not for a people, not for his people. because we are in a time where he has already shined his face on us. I wish you all could understand the tremendous favor that we all have been blessed with. It is, thank you, James C. Banks. He said, I'm in the promised land right now. That's truly a land of overflowing, overflowing with milk and honey, but it's truly missing y'all. Come on, my righteous brothers and sisters, the Most High, straight up, real straight up. Yes, we're on the cusp of some amazing things. And you know, the funny thing about all of this, I said, Father, I said, why did you take me away before that container got to Burkina Faso? Here's the thing, the Most High knows, man. So my flesh would not get tempted. I did this, I did that, man. Far be it from me. And I thank the Most High for that. And now here we are. The way that this came through, the way that things were happening, I said, no, I know that this is a spiritual battle. But we can't overcome that with flesh. It's by Yah's spirit. We've already won the battle. Now I need you all tomorrow with me to claim victory. To thank the Most High for victory, to thank the Most High for this breakthrough, to thank the Most High for this wall being removed. The enemy doesn't want us to win because the enemy doesn't want the Most High to win. But the enemy tries everything that he can. He tries to ensure that the tactics of delay continue to be employed against us. It's only up to us to be able to move in that manner to where we're coming together as a people. The prayers of the righteous availeth much. They avail much. They deliver much. They provide much. Do not get that twisted. Our prayers are powerful. So I would invite you all for that because I already know that once we come together, man, we got victory. Thank you for all those that's still here as YouTube kicks people on out. That's just how it goes. I'm sorry. They don't like to have me reach a certain number because then it messes up algorithms and things of that nature. I've seen you all getting kicked out. I'm sorry. You want to know why? Because that AI is literally it's demonic. They're releasing their demon overlords and they don't even realize that they're doing it. These four folks. It is what it is. But guess what? While they go into captivity, you want to know why we're being released out of this? Because we're starting to understand. Our eyes are now open and we're starting to understand the power that the Most High has already blessed us with. To call on his name, to come together as a people, to repent, and to ask the Most High to help. Also, continue to pray for our brothers and sisters in Jamaica as we continue to work on solutions for emergency relief efforts. I definitely, again, need your prayers and your support in that one. As I contact folks, as I give these folks emails, these WhatsApps, we are making our voices heard. And believe me, well, you don't have to believe me. It is what it is. The Most High has given us a tremendous and awesome standing that many can really even think, imagine, or fathom. So with that said, family, I do have to get up on out of here. Thank you again, family, for your prayers and your support. Thank you again for all that you do. And with that, family, most time willing, if I don't see you tomorrow on QTUA, I'll see you on Monday. And with that, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.